Baruch, good morning. We're moving on to the Halacha of what it means and how important it is to actually concentrate during tefillah. We spoke about things which can distract us from concentration. Now we'll explain why the concentration during our tefillah is so important. We know that in the time of the temple, in the time of the Beit HaMikdash, there was no, for sure, up until the first one, including the first one, there was no formal prayer. There was no Amidah, there was no tefillot, brachot was instituted by David HaMelech, but in the way that we have our siddur and our prayer, preceding the destruction of the first temple was non-existent. And therefore, the method that connected the Jewish people and HaKadosh Baruch Hu was the service in the temple, it was the sacrifices. After the destruction of the second temple, the great assembly of the Chachamim, they came together and they said that since we do not have that connection, connecting the Jewish people and HaKadosh Baruch Hu anymore, each and every individual now is going to start praying. And slowly, they put together the Siddur the way we have it. Now, what that means in essence is that our prayers have replaced the sacrifices. Is it better? Unfortunately not, but we're waiting for Mashiach. But in the meantime, it's what we have to replace the sacrifices that took place in the temple. And therefore, we try to, Chamim, equate one of the most important factors of a sacrifice to that of our prayer. And that is that if one would bring a sacrifice and they would not be concentrating what type of sacrifice it is and for what reason are they bringing it, and obviously they are understanding to bring it to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. If it wasn't very clear concentration what the person was doing, the sacrifice was worthless, and literally speaking, the individual would be obligated to redo that sacrifice, which would obviously incur a great financial loss. But the point is that if the person was not fully concentrated, they would not fulfill their obligation of bringing that sacrifice. Similarly, Chachamim teach us that if one does not pay attention to their prayers, it's as if the prayer has not been said at all. That's a very heavy statement. The statement that's brought down is that prayers without kavanah, intention, is like a body without a soul, without a neshama. It's a very serious concept. Halachically speaking, ideally, we say all the prayers need to have concentration. We should understand the whole siddur from cover to cover. Now, however, that takes maybe even a lifetime, or more than a lifetime, to actually accomplish. However, a person is supposed to understand that the Kiryat Shemas we're learning in the morning by Masechet Berachot, as well as the Amidah, are the most important parts of our prayer, and those need specific and special intention, and emphasize more on those. There's a halacha in the Shulchan Aruch, we'll end with this, and we'll see how we don't follow this halacha for practical reasons. The halacha is that even though the whole Amidah is very important, the first three brachot are the most important. And the Shulchan Aruch says, well, obviously we understand why it's important, because it's the opening of the prayer, we're beseeching HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The Shulchan Aruch says that if a person does not concentrate for the three first blessings, they should redo their Amidah. Whether they finished their Amidah already, or whether they're still in the middle of the Amidah, or whether they already just messed up and forgot to concentrate for the first blessing, restart the Amidah. The Tur, the Ramah, Chavad Yosef, Halacha L'Maaseh, I could name many names, say that nowadays, since anyways our level of concentration has diminished tremendously, we don't go back to redo our Amidah. It's like, wow. So it's like we've degenerated so far. So therefore, it's important to note that the Amidah is very important to pay attention and concentrate. The first three brachot is the most important part. And to the point where, back in the day, when there was more concentration, you would redo your Amidah if you did not concentrate. So therefore, we have to try to spend the time, the effort, and the concentration in understanding and connecting to our prayers. I'll end off with Chavad Yosef saying that if a person really concentrates all the time, and it was a chance that they did not pay attention, let's say that morning, that afternoon in their Amidah, they would be allowed to redo their Amidah. We're talking about someone who really concentrates every single Amidah. and they forgot to concentrate at the beginning of their Amidah, they would be allowed to redo their Amidah b'torat nedava, as above the letter of the law, a thanks to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, something extra. Not exactly, not an obligation. B'ezrat Hashem HaKadosh Baruch Hu will bless us to always concentrate in our tefillot, in the Amidah, in the Shema, and our whole Siddur B'ezrat Hashem.
Amen.